another week of Bruising Boxing. I'm your host, Ray Live. How y'all doing this evening out there in the internet universe? We're back for another week. With me, as always, is the one, the only, Filthy Rich. How are you, Filthy Rich?
Winning Time. The Rise of the Los Angeles Lakers premiered this past few days ago, and it's really good.
Yeah, so did the Batman. Apparently, the Batman's really good too. I think I'd rather go see the Batman personally.
Man, don't
All right,
me...
and also, I wish I had my mute powers back, but
no,
I
you
don't.
did too.
And with me, as always, is Judge Jimmy James, who happens to be going to Vegas with me this weekend. So we're going to be lighting it up down there. Are you looking forward to that there, buddy? Throwing that Filthy Rich money around?
Well, I guess I'm going to be throwing my own money around since I'm the one always buying stuff for everybody, I guess. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Just got off a lot of vacation to go into another vacation, so I like it. Wish that was all the time, but
yeah, it must be nice to be living large like Judge Jimmy James. And with us, as always, the man that can't read his own shirt, Matty Bush. What's up, Matty Bush?
How we all doing? I'm just gonna say another day, another MLB lockout.
Yeah, another MLB lockout, another day of big NFL trades, and I found out for my poor Vikings here that Aaron Rodgers is going to be around for a long time, sadly. But that's neither here or there. Gentlemen, if you guys are ready for your beers here, I know I'm going to be killing it in Vegas, and I'm going to be rich beyond dreams. And so in honor of that, I'm going to drink the Sustained Illusion, because this will be my sustained illusion all weekend that I'll never have to work again, and I can go on vacation every weekend like Judge Jimmy James. So, gentlemen, cheers.
cheers, bud.
Tastes like dreams and sadness. All right, boys, we got a lot of news to get to this week and a few fights to cover, so let's move on with the show. All right, Bruising News time to drink some beers and talk some news. We're not going to play the music because he lost all rights to the music, but Eddie Hearn says that Amir Khan wants step-aside money because he's a prize fighter to allow Kell Brook to fight Conor Benn. I want to know how many of you guys think that Amir Khan has this sustained illusion that he deserves any kind of money. Filthy Rich, we'll start with you.
Yeah, he's a prize fighter. That's what you do. Like you take step aside money when it's offered, and you go after the wounded animal when he's down. So, I mean, this is a good idea if Amir Khan wants to fight again. But watching his last fight, he's just not ready, unless it was fear that got the best of him against Kell Brook. But if for some reason he can get a Conor Benn fight and he thinks he can beat Conor Benn, take the step aside money and maybe fight Conor Benn. But like, I don't think he wants any of Kell Brook anymore.
To be a prize fighter, don't you have to fight and not just take money for going away?
It adds to the prize. It adds to the prize.
Now he's just a bounty hunter, I guess is what you call that. Judge, you've had your hate for Amir Khan for a long time. What do you think of this? Pay me because I'm retired, but I may come back if you don't.
I don't know. I literally just saw him with a brand new Lamborghini that he bought right after this fight. So maybe that was a little too expensive of a Lambo, and he now needs more money. And he just wants to invoke this to try to get money somehow for step aside stuff. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think Eddie Hearn is just going to tell him, if you want to do that, okay, go ahead. You guys have fun. Probably not going to get promoted nearly as it was before. I certainly, the excitement is gone from that, at least for me. So I don't know, man. Kell Brook, I don't even think I'd take it. I would move on to try to fight Conor Benn and make more money doing that, as opposed to going with Amir Khan again. And just, I mean, easy fight, but you're not going to make no scratch. So yeah, I think that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, Amir Khan got the Lamborghini money for the fight. Now he wants the gas money for stepping aside, because them gas prices go way up there. But you know what else? Matty Bush there. I always had to pause and remember what we're calling you all the time. I always want to call you, and then I realize it's not 5 a.m. when you're calling me. But what do you think about this Amir Khan wanting step aside money, just like you? You want us to pay you to step aside for a show each week, and we can't afford that. What do you think?
Well, after last fight, his name shouldn't even be relevant. Um, he's done with this sport. He's a contradictory like to himself. Like before the fight, I've never felt better. And then after the fight, I've lost my passion for the sport. Pick one or choose one. Come on, let's do it. No one wants to see you fight again. Is he trying to get the payday and step aside? Whatever. No one wants to see you fight. Even your English fans don't want to see you fight. He's a travesty to the sport at this point, and he's tarnishing his legacy.
Yeah, it's over, buddy. It's over, Amir Khan. It's not like you're even as good looking as, say, a Ryan Garcia.
Oh no.
Woo! Oh yeah, Ryan Garcia, baby. You know, it's pretty criminal that Amir Khan wants this money. It's almost as criminal as, you know, Adrian Broner.
Oh yeah.
Very criminal. All right. Moving on. Abel Sanchez, my favorite trainer for Gennady Golovkin. I always love when Golovkin walk out with the hand on the shoulder, walk into the ring on Abel's shoulder, walk there. He had an interview talking about Gennady Golovkin's career at this point and fighting Murata and the third fight with Alvarez and how he needs to get around to it. James, I've heard you talk about he should go back to Abel Sanchez a few different times. What do you think of this interview after reading it?
Oh, yeah. You know, first time I've heard Abel Sanchez's name in a very long time. I haven't heard him being a trainer for anybody else. I could be just out of the loop, but once they split, when he got his DAZN deal, I mean, it's not like he's a bad trainer. He trained Golovkin for a real long time, and he's got his opinion, and his opinion is that he needs to go back to the Gennady of old in order to beat Canelo for this upcoming fight. Probably going to get a lot more talk about this. Is he right? I don't know. You know, I'm not a big fan of Jonathan Banks. Different style of fighting, but I don't know. If everybody says that Canelo lost the 2 fights against Triple G with Abel Sanchez, then why would you change it? Do the same strategy because it should still work. I mean, Canelo only has so many weaknesses. So if you think a defensive fight, obviously his only loss is to Floyd Mayweather, but you're not going to be able to do the shoulder roll and all that other stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to predict the future, and we don't know. Obviously, it's 5 years later, so or whatever, however many years it is. So I don't know. It might be. Time will tell. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. It's a real good question. It's got me all over the place.
Yeah, it does have you all over the place. Abel Sanchez says that Golovkin's not a boxer. He's a bruiser. He gets in there and hurts you, and he needs to step away from that. Just go back to the roots and just start being a bruiser again. Matty Bush. What do you think of that? Do you agree with that? You're a bruiser. What do you think? You don't have a lot of style. You have more of a bruising side yourself. So what do you think?
Well, I think Abel Sanchez, he brought Golovkin up to what he was, the champion that he was. He was his trainer throughout one of the, I'm pretty sure it's Hall of Fame type numbers of defensives of his title belt at 160. You know that fight is never going to happen at 160. So it's hard for me to go, oh, I want that third fight because it'll never be at 160. Golovkin is not a 168 fighter. He's a 160 fighter. And if anything, he could go to 154. That'd be hard for him. He's where he's at. He's not a 168. But yeah, he's a come forward fighter. He's not supposed to be. His stamina is worse when he's trying to be on his feet because he's trying to move around and throw his jab is beautiful, but when he throws a jab on the back foot, it means nothing. Golovkin's jab was a power jab. It's not meant to set stuff up. His power jab is there to hurt you and then set up everything else after it. So that's why Jonathan Banks is the wrong choice. And maybe, you know what? First time I've ever heard Abel Sanchez talk good about Golovkin is very recently. I think he wants maybe he wants some payday too, because he wants to reunite with Gennady Golovkin for the third fight if Canelo gets through his next fight. he wants to reunite and be like, come back to me. Let's do it old school. Let's do it the way where we thought we won both fights. And let's do it like that. Because like James said, he hasn't been training no one else. Maybe he wants to get back into that circuit. And maybe he knows Gennady knows that.
Well, it was a power jab. He would hurt people, knock people down with that jab. And,
It's a power jab.
It was crazy. You said it right. Filthy Rich, what do you think? Do you think he needs to go back to Abel Sanchez, like going back to Mickey in the Rocky movies for the big fight, the last big hurrah?
Well, he got a draw and a loss. I'm not saying it didn't work because I thought he won both fights.
He got a win.
But that apparently the style isn't impressive to judges. So he's not going to win with that style. When he left Abel Sanchez, it was contract disputes. Abel wanted more money and he wasn't willing to part ways with that money. So that's why they broke off. I like Jonathan Banks as a defensive, not specialist, but a coach, I guess you could say, because Abel Sanchez's style is not sustainable for a man of 40 years old. You're going to end this dude's life. Forget his career. You can't fight like that when you're 40 years old. You have to protect yourself. So Jonathan Banks may be onto something here. I don't know. I do like Golovkin in this fight versus Murata. And I want to say I'm glad that Abel Sanchez also likes Golovkin's chances versus Murata.
He said they trained in the same gym for a while and they sparred a bunch, so he knows what he's getting into. My final follow-up question, I think Filthy Rich, you kind of already answered it, but what do you guys think? Who should be in the corner of Triple G in the Canelo fight? Should it be Abel Sanchez or should it be Jonathan Banks? Filthy Rich, I think you already are kind of going with Jonathan Banks. Is that what you're going to go
with? Against Murata?
No, against Canelo in the
Canelo. I mean, I don't know. He's not going to beat Canelo, so it doesn't matter who's in his corner. It's not going to help.
Judge, who do you think should be in his corner?
Didn't start pro until he was 26. So 14 years, not as many miles on those tires as you think. But he's been training with Banks for this long. Switching over to Sanchez may not be the right move. And technically he didn't win those two fights based off of the record. So might as well give Banks a shot, see if he can do it. But I don't know. I think it's 50-50 shots up. So.
And how about you, Matty Bush? Who do you think should be in the corner of Gennady Golovkin in that fight?
You can't train the God-given chin, Abel Sanchez.
I agree with Matty Bush for the first time ever. I think just you and me on the same size. I think how amazingly fun would that be and heart-fluttering would that be if you hear that boom, 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 boom in that Canelo fight and you see Triple G with his hand right on Abel Sanchez's shoulder going to the ring for the last time. Go ahead, Seabot. Go ahead, Bush.
Now, are we talking like Canelo coming down to 160 and fighting Gennady, or is Gennady going up to 168? We never addressed that.
I'm guessing they're probably gonna do a catch weight at 164, I'd imagine, but
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't really matter.
That's not the question.
The question we're talking about is who's in the corner. Who do you want in the corner? Is it sensational Sherry or is it Miss Elizabeth, Filthy Rich? You know what I'm talking about. Who's going to be in the corner in WrestleMania?
I even knew that reference.
All right. I hope it's Abel Sanchez. I think he needs to go back to the roots, bring it on back one last time. You went in with him, you go out with him. One last fight against Canelo, right into the sunset with Abel Sanchez, and finish off that legend by beating Canelo. That's what I say. All right. And since I have the final word, that's how we'll go with it. Moving on. Jaime Munguia was offered a fight against Jamal Charlo in June or July by the PBC. Is this a fight that Jaime Munguia should be taking? This is a very big step-up challenge from the people that Jaime Munguia has been fighting. He's talking about he should be that upper echelon. Jamal Charlo is that upper echelon. Is it too soon? Matty Bush, we'll start with you.
Hell no, it's not too soon. I love this fight. I know this is breaking news. I'm a Munguia. I don't even know his record. James can look that up. It's well over 40 fights and 40 wins as a professional.
No.
No.
Jaime Munguia?
Well over 40. 39
39
man.
yeah.
39
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, okay,
Just
well
under.
over.
He's bad with
Well,
numbers, folks.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I am bad with numbers. Is it like twice the amount that Jamal has had?
No, Jamal's at
32.
32, so 7 more. You know, I know math is
Okay.
very hard.
Okay,
That's
well,
7
okay.
more
How about
fights.
this? I'm not good at math. Neither one have really been tested that hard. I think it's a great fight between the two of them. I actually never even thought about pairing up Munguia and Jamal for some reason. Never even thought about that fight. And now that I heard that it was actually talked about, I'm so very interested in that fight. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but yeah, I'll watch the hell out of that fight. Boom, done. I think it's action packed.
Munguia didn't look good against Gabe Rosado, in my opinion, there, Filthy Rich. What do you think? Is this too big a step up too early, or do you have to, the essentially crap or get off the pot kind of deal?
I think this is a good fight for both guys. The only thing I'm hesitant on here is the word offer, because we don't know the dollar amount. If this is a low ball offer, you can offer anybody a low ball offer and people aren't going to take it. So I wouldn't expect Jamal Charlo to show up on DAZN fighting Jaime Munguia. He has posted stuff about him moving up to 168. I'm not saying I don't want to see it, but I said last week, Canelo needs to take these people's zeros, take their O's, and Charlo, if he's going to move up to 168, there's an O you can take. I don't want to get carried away on Canelo here, but when it comes to Munguia versus Charlo, I mean, it does make sense. I'm not going to take that away from it. It does make sense. It would make for a good fight, but I don't think this fight happens.
Well, here's the big reason why that fight might not happen. Munguia is Golden Boy. Golden Boy always finds a way to screw up things. De La Hoya will get all coked up and forget the contract numbers or whatever. He'll no-show things. Golden Boy, I don't know why he's signed with Golden Boy. I hate it. Judge Jimmy James, what do you think of it? Is this fight going to happen?
Well, let's start with, do I think it's a good fight?
All right, we'll start with that.
I think it's a good fight. This is definitely, 160. If these guys are still both there at 160, obviously Charlo's got some stuff, alleged stuff that he's got to still get with, which we haven't heard anything from for a while. So it's a little nerve-wracking, but Munguia has already been ordered by the WBO to fight Janibek
Cruz.
Alamakuli. I don't know, Kazakh style is his nickname, man. He's another Kazakhstan guy. So he runs out of that same Triple G stuff, but he's already been ordered to fight him. But that might not happen either. So if he can fight, Charlo's the bigger fight. If Munguia wants to step up and take, for both of these fighters, in my opinion, Munguia and Charlo, if you guys want to take a step up and actually see who's the better fighter and who's going to get, springboarded up to a potential Canelo fight. If Munguia's trying to move up and Charlo's trying to move up, might as well, dude. This is going to get the attention of Canelo Alvarez 100%. Whether or not he does anything with it is a different story. But at least this way you're moving in the right direction to get your big old payday, like you keep saying. You're not saying it right, Seabach, but that's okay.
You just want the payday.
Yeah, this is. Do I think it now? Back to your original question, do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. Unfortunately, more likely than not, what Golden Boy will probably do is reject both and probably go after Golovkin.
Yeah,
or something stupid is what's probably going to happen. Gonna be something dumb like that. But
Oscar want like the 70-30 side, the 70-30 A side for Munguia versus Charlo. Oh well, you got the legal problems. You never know. Whatever coked up dream he has. But yeah, I don't think it happens either. But it'd be an interesting thing if they can both. This would be a big thing. But Filthy Rich, you said before, I believe it was last week, that Canelo shouldn't be dictating this stuff. People shouldn't be fighting each other like this just for Canelo's benefit. It sounded like Judge was saying this is kind of for Canelo's benefit. What do you think? Any comments on that? Okay, good talk. All right, moving on then. Fine, you got your hand raised.
I don't think it's for Canelo's benefit. I'm just saying if you want to get that fight, this is a better move in the direction because you're fighting the top opponents.
My hand was raised. James just already.
Brilliant!
Oh, geez. Well, you lasted as long as you could, didn't you, buddy?
I did. James answered that perfectly correct.
That's what you had your hand raised for? To say James answered it perfectly?
No,
And
to
then
say what
obviously-
I already said.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I agreed, and I go. James said it best because I had my hand raised, and then James jumped in, and then I got a dough.
Yeah. Well, only 5 more to go to tie the record, so maybe we'll see if that happens.
Yeah,
Probably
Well,
not.
you know,
Let's
I
hope
don't know.
not.
I don't know what you asked me, but apparently James is on a roll here, so I'll just agree with whatever James said. I agree. I'll drink to that.
I'll
Don't
drink to that.
do that. That's a terrible idea.
It's a great idea.
I like to have that sustained illusion of it. All right. Moving on. Josh Taylor fought Catterall last week, and I think, or a couple weeks ago, and we all think Catterall won that fight. I believe Filthy Rich said you thought it was a little closer. If I'm remembering that wrong, correct me, please. So people thought Catterall should be the undisputed champion anyway, but Josh Taylor got the decision, and he's moving up, so he's going to be vacating these belts, and all these title matchups are going to be on the line. It's not going to be a undisputed championship anymore. Obviously, the belts are going to be split up and moved around. And I believe it was Bad Left Hook. Yes, it was Bad Left Hook. Projected some of the title fights. Which one of these fights do you guys think are the most intriguing ones for the vacated belt? Filthy Rich, we'll start with you.
Are you gonna read them off? What
Oh, do you want me to read them off?
Yeah.
Sure.
What are the choices?
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Yeah,
choices
give us
are.
the fights. There's multiple choices.
I can make my own. I can make my own fights. Really, the answer
Ramirez
here is-
Zapata 2
Okay.
was one of them. Is that the one you're going to go to?
I was going to say have a Super 6 tournament. There hasn't been a tournament in a long. They had the 140 tournament on DAZN not too long ago that Josh Taylor won. It's time we have another tournament every 4 years or so. This is the right time for it. Do
Hell
it again.
yeah, Richie.
Run it back.
Hell yeah, Richie.
I'll drink
All
to
right.
me.
I got a
Thank you, boys.
question real quick.
Richie. I'm drinking a Richie right now.
No one's talking to you. I got a question real quick. If you only have a Super 6 tournament, there's 4 belts on the line. How does 4 belts get translated to a Super 6 tournament? Shouldn't that be
Well,
a
cut it-
Super 8 tournament? Or shouldn't it be like
Yeah.
a Super 16 or
Cut the
something like
belts in
that?
half. Cut the belts don't matter.
Man, I'm about,
Yeah.
to,
March Madness.
about to mute you,
Yeah,
man.
I'm with Maddie. I'm with Maddie Bush. Almost 100%, basically 100%. Because at the end of the day, we have to trust that the governing bodies know how to rank people, and they don't. So you know what I mean? So like we don't know what's gonna happen here, but if you throw everyone into the mix and let them all duke it out, somebody will prevail as the winner, and the governing bodies aren't gonna have a choice but to jump on board with the person who wins, because they're just gonna receive criticism if they don't do that.
Richie,
Well, here are
let's
the
drink
fights.
to each
Since
other
I did-
again.
Since I didn't read them, Ramirez Pedraza 2, Ponce versus Mateus was another one. Jack Catterall versus Liam Paro with a possible Catterall versus Tifimo Lopez if Lopez is up for it. And who was the last one? I think I missed the last one in there somewhere. It doesn't matter. But those were the ones that were kind of Matthias.
Well, they're all for specific belts. That's
yeah,
the
it's
point
WBO,
that Bad
IBF,
Left Hook
WBA, whatever.
is
WBC.
doing for each one. That's why I was.
Belts.
That's why I was asking questions about how are you going to get that at play, because obviously you can do a Super 6 for the WBO, a Super 6 for IBF, but there ain't that many boxers to get to those points. So I don't know. Maybe I missed the answer. But how are you
I
going to
didn't.
do it
I
for
didn't ask
every
the question
single
very
belt?
well.
Well,
I'll put that one on my shoulder.
And here's the other thing. These belts are all vacant right now. When Andre Ward was in the Super 6, there were belts scattered here and there. When Josh Taylor eventually, I believe it was Pro Gray is the one he beat to end that tournament. No one vacated 140. Well, maybe Terrence Crawford vacated all the 140 belts if he had them all. I don't even know if he had them all. But,
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, we don't know where the belts when Josh Taylor leaves, if he leaves, but we have to assume that he is leaving 140. Where are all these belts going to go? We have to kind of cross our fingers that the governing bodies, the WBAs of the world, will get this right, and we'll have Catterall probably ranked at the top on all the boards. And then after that, things will hopefully fall into place, like the Pro Grays and the Jose's, whether it's Ramirez, Zapata, or there's another one out there. But we got to hope all that. We got to hope all that happens. And like, we can't trust these guys. They know how to screw it up. They'll screw it up on purpose.
Let's trust ourselves.
something.
Let's trust ourselves. We know better.
Why is it the IBF never seems to have the number one ranked in a division anywhere near their titles? Why is that? Filthy Rich. You know why? Like Catterall's talked about all these, but the IBF has got Ponce versus Mateus as their
I mean,
1 and 2. That makes no sense to me.
Well, I think because, well, I don't know. I know in past I've seen the IBF doesn't rank anyone who already has a belt. So maybe Catterall had, I don't know. But like I could be wrong on that. I don't know. Things are gonna change every single day. These people meet like every single day to make money. So I don't know what the last meeting was. They don't invite me. I've been kicked out apparently.
Well, you should, and they should invite you. That should just make you. Yes, I see you. I'll get to you in a second. They should just make it to just make you the head of it. So I don't know. What do you need to say, Matty Bush? Go ahead.
Let's start rating these guys on skill set. I'm done with these belts. Thank you, Richard.
Right.
That doesn't work at all.
All right, another dynamite drop in there, Monty. That broadcasting school for you has really paid off, Matty Bush. Well done.
Look, real quick. Look, these things, all the belts are going to be vacated because he was undisputed, so he had all of them. The only thing these guys are going to be able to do is do like I guess you call, I don't know if you call it Super 4. Pick the top 4 in each: the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the WBO. They shouldn't overlap according to what I'm looking at. And if they don't overlap at that point, then there's the 4 for the WBC, the 4 for the WBA, the WBA, the IBF, the WBO. Have those guys fight. And then at that point, those 4 champions, they can duke it out, and then there'll be one standing again as far as that goes. But it has to be something like that. They just can't just loop them all together into one giant pool and just have I don't know, something goofy. But
well, I'll tell you, I don't think all 4 organizations really care about, combining all the champions and having an undisputed anyway. They like to have, more people to talk about. They don't care about undisputed and unifying titles. They don't care. Why would they care?
They don't, but the fighters care. And that's what makes fight. If you can get on a card that you're going to be undisputed champion, that's going to be something that's a selling point. That's a marketing boy. You're going to have that. If you have that, that just means something to everyone. Even though we know the belts don't mean nothing, it's still how it is, right?
I always wondered that if a guy has like 3 or 4 belts and the organizations get paid for that champion's fight or whatever it is, do they only get 25% if a guy has an undisputed, of that cut they would have? And if he say he was the WBC only champion or WBO champion, and they would get a cut of his championship fight. But if he was all 4 champion, do they have to split that 25 or 4 different ways? And they don't really care. And that's why the IBF has different rankings and stuff. I don't know how the money of that works. No one knows how the money of boxing works exactly, but it just seems like, I don't know, they don't really care about unifying.
They don't, but they're getting their sanctioning fees. I think the sanctioning fee is going to go to that regardless. If you have one of those belts, this is why those prize fights make more money. They need more money to be made. I think that's just one reason for it. No, definitely not going to be like, it's always $1 million and I'm going to take only $250 this time. And, absolutely not, because then they would never fight. They would never allow it. It would never happen. It's not going to happen.
There's only so much money to go around in each purse. So, that's another way to go look at it. There's only so much money to go around.
Hey, tune in next weekend. Me and James are going to fight for the candy cane belt. Guess what? They just made a belt for it.
Yeah. Well, man, we're not going to be able to get that one done because it's going to be 90-10 A-side for Judge Jimmy James, and you ain't gonna take that. You ain't gonna take that $5 there, Matty Bush, that fight. So, all right, last bit of news we got to get to here. Anthony Joshua's got a brand new trainer in Angel Fernandez after leaving longtime coach Rob McCracken. Apparently, he seems to be doing well. He gets to have a interim fight, and even if he loses, he still gets his contract rematch against Usyk when Usyk returns from fighting Putin. What do you guys think of this? Do you think this is another good change for Anthony Joshua? Or do you think he should have just stuck with his guns and been the same way he's always been? Filthy Rich, you kind of know more about, you're kind of the Anthony Joshua guy. You always had him as your number 1 for a long time in a lot of the heavyweights. So I'm going to throw him to you because he's your guy.
I know, it's my guy, man. Thanks, it's my guy. Look, I once heard a guy say this a long time ago. Change is good if it's for the better. And if Joshua thinks this is the right move, then good. I don't know much about McCracken other than he might have been the Olympic coach when he won the gold medal. Cool. But I do like this.
Cool.
Angel Fernandez, is that his name?
Yeah.
I just like looking at him. He's a young dude, and I like young trainers out there. The Rams won the Super Bowl with a young head coach, guy younger than me. Like, so there's something about young guys being innovative, and if Joshua is receptive to that, this will be good. It may take a while, but it should be fine. I think Joshua knows what he's doing.
Judge, do you agree?
Yes, he does. I'll get to that.
Let the man speak.
Look. So Angel
Wait,
Fernandez,
would you mute Matty Bush for that?
for the laughter? No, not yet.
No,
You're close,
for
though.
Filthy Rich's comment. That's what we're just gonna
Oh.
blame him.
Well, so Angel Fernandez has been with AJ as part of a trainer for like 3 years. McCracken's still going to be there, even though, I mean, he did beat Roy Munson in the bowling championship, so I don't know really how he's going to do that. I mean, that's going to be pretty good, but
Big earn.
don't be giving me that look, Rich. I was making a joke. That's big earn.
Big earn.
Big earn McCracken, baby.
It's bigger.
I'm bigger.
Okay. I'm going to mute Matt real quick because he's
You
super
can
loud.
mute me too, because I have no idea what that means.
I was bigger than McCracken.
What?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, I mean, Joshua's already been all over the place, man. He's been with Ronnie Shields. He's been with Eddie Reynoso and Virgil Hunter, trying to find someone that's going to make him to the next point. Yeah, if this is a change for the better, why not, man? It's definitely not gonna. It can't. Well, I don't want to say it's not gonna hurt him, but I don't believe he's already been in his stable that it's not going to hurt him. I think this will just be, let's see what happens. It's definitely a risk, but you know what? Good for you for taking a risk.
Trainer change can definitely hurt you. I mean, what if Matty Bush started training you instead of Filthy Rich? It would not turn out good. Filthy Rich knows the style, knows the sweet science. Matty Bush is all emotion, and plus you'd never get paid right because he can't add. So
You would
never get a payday.
promoter, man. You'd be my manager. Are you kidding me? But he could train me. Matty Bush could train me. I'd train with Matty
No, I'm
Bush.
saying it'd be like, okay, well, Filthy Rich, you're out.
Hey, man.
I guess.
Hammer
I
curls
agree.
and push-ups all day. What's up?
Hell yeah, baby. Let's work on that speed.
God.
Well, hopefully
All right.
Stone Hands Anderson will make a return to the boxing ring.
I want to say
What?
something,
Right.
man.
Go ahead, say something before I
Well,
pass it
I
to
mean-
Matty Bush.
Yeah, or do you want to pass the Bush? I just want,
go for
before
it.
we
Go
move
for
on. Look, Ryan Garcia just left Reynoso. You wonder if Ryan Garcia could have just gone with like an offspring of Reynoso. If he didn't have time for him, that's one thing. And maybe Josh was like, look, this dude doesn't have time for me, but I know what happened with the fallout with Ryan Garcia. I don't want to throw this trainer under the bus, so I'm just going to take this other guy. Maybe that's what's happening here. We don't know. But I almost wish Ryan Garcia would have, Reynoso would have said, "Hey Garcia, I don't have time for you. Take this guy. You've been working with him for 3 years." That's all I wanted to add.
Real
Go ahead.
quick, Andy Ruiz is no longer with Reynoso either. I just saw him training with somebody else. So
What?
yeah, there are people leaving that camp, and I
Are
don't
you
know
for
what's
real?
happening. Yeah,
I
that's
didn't
for
know
real.
that. I didn't know that. I didn't
Well,
know that.
I don't know.
Something
breaking
in the
news.
water or in the meat.
I don't know.
Oh,
Sorry,
man, so
getting off track.
Oh, of course.
Well, Ruiz has got them
Well-
fast hands, and Ryan Garcia's got that sexy look. Play the music, James.
I will not dance.
I don't care. You will sit there and you will like it. Now I train with thought. Whatever you want to say, Matty Bush, about this whole thing. I forgot. I lost my train of thought. Now.
Anthony
I know,
Joshua.
Ryan Garcia, I get distracted.
It's Andy. Well, you know what? It doesn't really matter who the hell he trains with. Usyk is going to beat the shit out of him.
Once again,
No,
just because
okay.
you spell it doesn't mean you can do it. Oh my god.
It don't matter.
Oh my
It don't
god.
matter. Like it really
You're going to
doesn't.
be a parent soon. You got to realize that doesn't matter when you say I'm going to the
and-
DOCTOR. They go,
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah.
And guess what? The kid, as soon as it's like eligible to like know how to spell, it won't know it for another 12 years. So it doesn't matter. I can do that.
Oh my
So,
God. Back to
all right.
point.
okay, it doesn't matter what trainer he's got. It ain't gonna change nothing. Especially came out of the same camp as McCracken, Phil McCracken.
Big earn.
Yeah.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
Oh,
Ah, again? Seriously, we're getting
And,
close now. Was that number 3?
That was like 4 in a row, I think. I don't know. I don't even know what comes out of my mouth. No, because honestly,
Mute
no,
him.
You're about to get muted, man. Let's get back on track.
I apologize. It does not matter what trainer Joshua gets. I mean, it's the same guy who talked about, I'm going to train myself and beat Usyk. It's the same dude. He's going to be a one-trick pony, and that's what Anthony Joshua is. I'm big. I'm intimidating looking. I'm going to scare you. When you get a guy that ain't scared of you, it don't matter. You're going to lose. Guess what? The crazy Ukrainian carrying M16 over in the Ukraine right now for his country is going to come back. He don't even need to train. He's going to come back and be done with you, and he's going to end you quick.
That's a
My
one-trick
phrase-
pony. You say one-trick pony, you're talking about Deontay Wilder. You're not talking about
We don't
Anthony
know what
Joshua.
war does to people. This guy
Yeah.
might come back from war and say, I'm done with boxing. Boxing
Yeah.
does not matter to me. I'm retiring. We
and he
don't
might
know if
come-
there's the Usyk fight may never happen. We may never see this guy in the ring again. We don't know how long this war is going to last.
Hold on.
Don't know if he survives.
And you know, he might come back angrier than before. Don't worry about that.
But
Can't let
hold on,
emotions get
mute
the
him real
best of
fast
you.
because I wanted to talk about this. He said he's a one-trick pony. That's Deontay Wilder. That's not Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is one of the more complete heavyweights that is out there. As Filthy Rich has
he's
pointed
not.
out many
No,
times.
he's not.
Hey,
I'm talking. Why is he not on mute? There we go. Thank you.
just relax. He's not a one-trick pony. He's
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
He's he can't adjust. We already talked about this. We're not gonna beat a dead horse here, right? He can't adjust.
Just stop dancing.
It doesn't matter. The end of this got all crazy. I think it's time to just wrap it up, B.
Yeah.
All right, wrap it up, B. By the way, yeah, Usyk, stay safe, buddy. I'd like to see you in the ring again. Stay safe to all the Ukraine fighters that are fighting over there in the Ukraine. All right, that's the news for this week. So let's go ahead and move on with the show, gentlemen. All right, Brews and Reviews time. We got a couple fights to talk about this week, including one that includes one of Judge's guys. You know, your guy, James. One of your guys. As Filthy Rich loves to hear that. But first, we're going to talk about the Battle of the Jose's. We had Ramirez versus Pedraza, or as they say on the pay-per-view, was it Marinez? They can't say it. They say names like I do on that pay-per-view, by the way. But Ramirez versus Pedraza. Matty Bush, you watched the fight. Give us a little review of this fight. Little this and that and that. Go ahead.
All right. Well,
Try to keep the swearing down.
I will try my best. But I'm going to say Ramirez, I was hoping for a lot more from him after the Taylor fight. And what I watched against Pedraza, who has gone back up to a weight that he's comfortable at 140, because he's moved around multiple times. Pedraza is kind of like a stepping stone at this point in time. And everyone knows it. And we all know that Pedraza is a good fighter. And Ramirez is a good fighter also. And I'm going to say I was expecting a lot more from Jose Ramirez and how he would handle this. I figured he would have ended Pedraza like within I was going to say round 9 or less. Well, this thing went the full distance. And honestly, what I saw is a bunch of sloppy fighting. And Jose Ramirez just being who he is and trying to push the issue and just throw punches. And Pedraza had his moments in a point where, you know, I don't remember the scorecards on it, but honestly, Pedraza had his moments and it made Jose Ramirez look kind of foolish. And Pedraza shouldn't do that to anyone at this point in his career. I know he's more comfortable at this point. Jose Ramirez has taken a fall from grace since the Taylor loss. And in my opinion, he has become a stepping stone. He's the same stepping stone that Pedraza is. Everyone uses Pedraza as stepping stone, and Ramirez couldn't adequately beat him as a stepping stone fighter. I know he wants another title shot. I don't know if he deserves it. I don't know how he gets better than this, but he should have been able to do it. And like that's all I can say about it. Like I can't even break down the fight because I didn't think it wasn't a beautiful fight. It was an ugly, non-entertaining fight, in my opinion.
Well, it was Ramirez winning by unanimous decision there. Filthy Rich, Matty Bush says they're both stepping stones here. I don't know if you agree with that. Maybe you do, but you're going to break down what's next for Pedraza. Is he a stepping stone, or where does he go from here?
Yeah, I mean Pedraza, I can't tell because like he's losing big fights. Like we saw him get knocked out by Gervonta Davis when Gervonta Davis was the up and comer at the time. So maybe this is kind of the end of the road for Pedraza. The first name I have on my list of what is next or who is next for Pedraza is Jose Ramirez. Actually, let them two go back at it. I think it was probably like an even fight. It's probably a boring fight, but at least they're evenly matched, and that's kind of important. You don't want to like walk over the next guy. Second name I have on here is Arnold Barboza, who's also with Top Rank, so that fight is easy to make. You can make Arnold Barboza be this up and comer that doesn't succeed, or this is the test for Barboza, who needs a big fight to prove that he belongs at 140. And the last fight, we have our third Jose Zepeda would be my last guy. Zepeda, I believe, beat Pedraza last time they met a couple years ago. So maybe Pedraza wants a little revenge to prove he still belongs at 140. Let me go beat up a guy who's still a relatively big name and see what we can make of it. So those are the three names: Jose Ramirez, Arnold Barboza, and Jose Zepeda.
You say Pedraza is always in these big fights, but he's always losing these big fights. You would call him a prize fighter then, would you? Would be a prize fighter? No, you're done. Wait, would you be a prize fighter? Yeah, no.
There's only one prize fighter in boxing. Let's be real here.
But we're not. But he doesn't get his music anymore. He's done. All right, Judge Jimmy James. What do you think about Ramirez or Ramirez? They can't pronounce his name on there. Apparently, they're like me. Maybe I can get a job for them. What do you think?
I don't know. Timothy Bradley has a hard time on Ramirez, but
Ramirez.
look. So real quick, Pedraza lost to 4 people, 3 before Ramirez. It was Jose Zapata, Lomachenko, which he took the distance during Lomachenko's little streak, and then Gervonta Davis, she got knocked out, but definitely
different weight classes, though.
That's great. So
yeah,
either way, like Jose Ramirez lost to Josh Taylor last, and he had the perfect game plan. Jose Ramirez overextends himself, he gets countered. That's what he does. I think he's kind of been figured out because he was doing the same stuff against Pedraza. So where does Ramirez go next? Honestly, Taylor vacates the belts. There's going to be so many options because we talked about it earlier, we have absolutely no idea how they are going to figure out who gets to fight for the WBO, WBA, IBF, WBC. We have no idea, right? I personally, if take the belts out of it, if we're talking about who's left at here, Ramirez should fight probably, in my opinion, these 3 fighters: Jack Catterall for a belt, Regis Prograis for a belt, or Antoine Russell?
Antoine Russell.
Is it the Antoine Russell?
Hell yeah.
One of those 3 is who I think Ramirez fights. A lot of people keep saying that Ramirez is now past his prime, past the hill, over the hill. I disagree. I think that those 3 names are big names in that division. Obviously, Catterall was still question mark for me still, but he did real good against Taylor. But Antoine Russell's coming up. That's a guy I want to see prove himself. And then obviously Regis Prograis, he just deserves big fights. So that's what I got.
I think Ramirez looked really. I'm talking now. I think Ramirez looked really good against Josh Taylor personally, and his patented left hook still has damage, buddy. He still has it good with the left hook. But I think Catterall. I agree with you. I think Catterall should be the fight. That'd be a good one.
As long as it's for a belt.
Yeah,
I do want to say I could have easily thrown Catterall on my list, but Catterall's not going to want to fight a guy who just lost. So I had to take 3 other guys. But I like the Prograis and the Catteralls. Definitely, James nailed it.
James nailed the hell out of it, and
You
I love
didn't.
that Russell. I was going to drink to James. I love that you threw Russell in there. Thank
The
you.
Russell fight won't happen. Russell's on PBC. That fight's just not going to happen. I wanted to put Russell on too, but I chose Barboza because he's with Top Rank, and there's a likely chance that fight could happen. I'll drink to me, Matty.
Drink to you.
Oh, Richie.
All right, let's move on to James's guy. James, you get to watch your guy Chocolatito not fight the fight that you wanted him to fight against Estrada, but he did get to fight the Julio Cesar Martinez in a very Chocolatito-like fight, I would say. What do you why don't you break this Chocolatito style fight down for us all? This is a very entertaining Chocolatito fight, as they all are.
Oh, baby. Ooh, baby. Was I excited? I was still excited because I get to see Chocolatito fight. If you go back and watch previous shows, active pound for pound list, I keep putting Chocolatito on my active pound for pound list, regardless if he lost to Estrada, he lost
He beat
to
Estrada.
Sarungvasai. I do not care. Chocolatito is literally one of the best fighters that is active right now. Now, with that being said, he put on a clinic against a guy that took a fight within what I've seen 6.5 and 5.5 weeks. People are saying that's a real short time frame to prep for a fight. To be honest, for me, I don't believe that that's short of a time frame, man. You're talking about 6.5 weeks. That's a month and a half. That's a long time to prep for a fight. Maybe not long enough to prep for Chocolatito. Either way, if you've ever seen Julio Cesar Martinez fight El Rey, he's kind of an awkward fighter, right? He likes to switch stances. He likes to shimmy, shake, and he's like a winding, I don't want to say a haymaker, but he like throws a lot of winding punches real fast, and he's pretty good at it until he hit Chocolatito. Chocolatito was literally, this was perfect for offense and defense. All of these shots that El Rey was throwing, besides the first round was the only round that Chocolatito took off. Once he had that figured out, he was done. Martinez was done. He was offensive, defensive. It was all these shots that looked like they were hitting. If you're actually, watching this and know what's up, they were not hitting Gonzalez. Look at his face at the end of the fight. It looked so pretty. Like he was just walking
Like
off of
me.
whatever. Oh, like Rich. Oh. I don't know, maybe hearts or something. But it was just a clinic, man. And I was surprised because I like Julio Cesar Martinez. I'm very surprised that he didn't do better. He was almost acting. There was another fight recently that reminded me of him, but he was throwing a couple of punches and then, maybe even Amir Khan he was fighting like when he was throwing punches and then backing up against the ropes and putting his hands down and then just, like he was gassed or something stupid. It was so weird, but obviously didn't come to play. He didn't make weight either, which is super weird because he was coming up in weight, but he couldn't make weight. He went from 112 to 118 or 112 to 115, but he couldn't make 115, which didn't make any sense. But I don't know, man. This was a clinic that Roman Gonzalez put on Julio Cesar Martinez, and I think this is still the start. You were going to start seeing Gonzalez in more big fights. If he fights Estrada again, he is going to win, and he's going to win by a KO.
Can he beat Sarungvasai? Because for some reason that's a kryptonite of him.
Yes.
I don't know
No,
why.
do not
I don't
fight
know
Sarungvasai ever again.
I don't know why he can't beat him.
Hey man, everyone's got their kryptonite, man. Do not.
I have
fight
no
him
idea
again.
why. He's
got
so
his
much
number.
better than him.
Doesn't matter. He's got his kryptonite. Don't do it. But he fights anyone else at 115. Done. Soda. Bye.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I
Maybe
don't
we'll
know,
get
man.
into that with Matty Bush down there when he talks about what's next for Chocolatito. But first, I want to go to Rich and ask what's next for Julio Cesar Martinez, who moved up in this fight and did have trouble making weight, as Judge pointed out. Is he going to be moving up then, or what do you think? What's going on?
First, he beat Sarungvasai. That first fight, I had Chocolatito beating Sarungvasai. There should have never been a rematch. Chocolatito lost because of blood, which was stupid. That was on the Golovkin undercard versus Jacobs, I believe. But he can beat Sarungvasai. So let's move on from there. What's next for Julio Cesar Martinez, who, yes, did not make weight, but for some reason, I still have him moving back down to flyweight. I don't see him competing with anyone at the Superfly division, so I had to put him back down where he holds a belt, where he holds the WBC title. So my first guy I have as an opponent for Julio Cesar Martinez is, I believe the name is Junto Nakatani, who holds the WBO belt. He's 22-0 with 17 knockouts. This is the big fight. That is the one where he could potentially lose this. Now, he may want to avoid Nakatani, but that's the big fight. That's probably the fan-friendly fight there. So that would be number one, fan-wise. Number two would be Sonny Edwards, who holds an IBF belt. He's 17-0 with, I don't want to say much power, but only 4 knockouts. So maybe that is a fight you redeem yourself, and then there's a belt on the line too. And if we're going to make a big deal about belts, which we don't, but when the fighters need to collect titles to make a name for themselves, that's another title you can have under your wing. The last name I have here, Artem Dalakian.
We don't talk flyweight.
Artem. This is the WBA belt holder. He's 21-0 with 15 KOs. His only downfall, it's not even a downfall. The dude right now is probably being a hero fighting in the Ukraine, so he may not be fighting anytime soon. But if Martinez has the WBC belt, you may as well try to go after some other titles. And I just named 3 other belt holders at that division.
And we don't talk much flyweights on this show. We should maybe give that division some more spotlight sometime here. But yeah, we don't really talk too much about him. All right, Matty Bush, what's next for Chocolatito? I want to see if the judge agrees with you on what you think is next for Chocolatito. Is this Runbasai in the future? Is it Estrada in the future?
No,
is it?
no.
Is it?
It's,
Well, let me pass it to you before you interrupt me. Or is it somebody else that I haven't mentioned? Go ahead.
It's definitely the third fight with Estrada, and I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think Estrada even wants that fight after seeing how good he looked. I watched Chocolatito transform back into his old self. The balance, like we watched a pound for pound great of all time, and he's going to go down in 20 years down the road. We will look back and we'll realize that we missed the fact that Chocolatito is one of the greatest fighters that has ever walked this face of this earth. The balance that he has, the skills that he have, like I know it's a lighter weight, and not a lot of people give him that clout, and it's unfortunate because he's so light in weight. I'm going to tell you something. What he showed even in this fight, the balance, his offense to defensive movement, like he goes from defense to offense in a matter of one fluid movement.
So who's he going to fight next, Matt?
Yeah,
That's the
Ooh,
question, bud.
I'm not asking you to break down Chocolatito. We know what Chocolatito does.
It's Estrada. It's Estrada, and I was just saying Estrada don't want it. No, it's Estrada.
No one
else.
The third fight. And you know what? Sir Rivens guy or whatever, I can't pronounce his name ever.
Hey, way to go.
Timothy Bradley.
I'm gonna tell you something. If Chocolatito keeps rolling and he's in the shape that he is now and the way he moves, he will not lose that fight.
Well, I want to pass something over to Judge.
I want to see Estrada.
I want to pass something on over to Judge Jimmy James because you know Chocolatito is his guy. And why do I always think that Chocolatito is older than he is? He's only 34. I mean, I always feel I said judge, mute him. Thank you. He's only 34. I feel like he's a lot older than that. We always act like maybe is it just because he's been around a long time? Is it Nicaraguan that we just think he's that old, or what's going on with that?
No, it's just you start early, you start young, and this is just he's been around. And these lighter weights, they start young and they seem old. Like this 34 is technically old for this weight division. It just is. But I just don't. I thought he might have been on his downfall when he lost to Siskaret, but he didn't. Like he came back against Estrada and he came back against Kid Yafai, and he like it was or Cal Yafai, and he came. He's just. This is why he's still on my active pound for pound list. I mean, I don't know. Estrada's the fight I want to see. Obviously, this was the fight I was hoping for. I don't think there's really a good fight for him moving forward. I don't want to see him hit Farungbasai again. I don't want to see him hit Bam Rodriguez. If Bam Rodriguez takes that fight, that's a bad fight for him. But otherwise, what do you got? Like Franco down there, Maloney. Like, no, I just don't. I don't like it. I mean, and Kai has just lost his belt, so I don't know. I don't like it. But
well, the one last question I have about that fight too is, when I watched the fight, I had Chocolatito winning pretty much every round, maybe one round to Martinez, maybe. But even one of the judges still even had it at 116, 112. What is going on with the judging in that division?
Martinez got the first round. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The whole fight.
Yeah, I thought Chocolatito won pretty much every round, maybe lost one round. But I thought the judging was a little ridiculous, even that, when he gets a unanimous decision.
I mean,
Filthy Rich, you have any final
Canelo's
comments on everything?
ringside, man.
Yeah. Filthy Rich, you have any final comments on anything these guys have been talking about Chocolatito?
Well, look, our friend Matty Bush had it all up here from what I understood, and he had one name, which is awesome. That's what we expect. I'd like to see Chocolatito like move up. If there is nothing left but an Estrada fight, move on, move up. Inoue is up there. Dude that had the pressure cooker bust in his face. Guillermo Rigondeaux is up there. move on. Those fights don't happen because networks get in the way and promotions get in the way, but maybe go and conquer your 5th division, 6th division, something like that. Go on and do that.
Wow, wait a minute. I've never thought of an Inoue versus Chocolatito fight.
Nope.
No. He's too little. He's too little.
Inoue is Godzilla. I don't know about that. That'd be interesting. I don't know.
Chocolatito's too small. Too small.
Yeah, well, it's hard to fight
might
Godzilla.
be at 126. But 122, he can move up to 122. Because if he's fighting at 118, move up to 122, see what's up there. But
Chocolatito's stretching it right now.
Yeah.
I don't know. He looked really big, but he was also fighting a guy who was coming up a weight class, not to mention a guy who missed weight too. So maybe Chocolatito, maybe he can go up and go fight the big one.
He was already stretching himself to get to this weight.
I'm gonna stretch you out to get to that weight.
Yeah, exactly. That whole division is Chocolatito, Estrada, and Sarungvasai. That is that whole division, and as long as they keep fighting each other, they're gonna keep making money. You know, that division's gonna keep making money as long as those three guys keep fighting each other. I think so. All right, that's the reviews from the fights this last weekend. Chocolatito looking great, and hopefully more great things on the future. Being a old 34, I guess, which is a weird thing to say in this day and age. But
look at how many fights he's got.
Yeah, good. All right, so now it's time to move on with the show. All right, that's our show this week. Hey, a little PSA. I got a note from some people that apparently there's a new drinking game that people are taking big shots every time Matty Bush says "dough" on the show. Please, for the love of God, drink with people. Don't get alcohol poisoning following the show playing that game. Drink responsibly. Drink Matty Bush. Filthy Rich, why don't you bring us on home?
After 19 years of ring absence, Kevin Owens' challenge has been accepted at WrestleMania. Welcome back, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I will drink to you.
Is that real? Is that real that they're going to
announce today that
really?
Stone Cold is coming back this year for WrestleMania to fight Kevin Owens? He has.
I always hated because Kevin Owens stole the stunner. He was using the stunner all the time. It's the Stone Cold stunner. Stone Cold better win that match. It'll be awesome. I'm coming to your house to watch WrestleMania. I'm doing it.
Bring it on.
Wait, is it this weekend?
It's in April. First week of April, I believe.
Okay, we're gonna go watch it over there. It's gonna be great. Hey, Judge, he'll pay for it this time, so we can go over there and watch WrestleMania. Judge, if they're watching us, where can they listen to us? And if they're listening to us, where can they watch?
Oh, real quick, I completely remember what I was gonna say in my intro.
Oh.
Congrats to David Diamante to coming back from his accident this weekend. I could not believe that he was in the ring announcing the fights. That was amazing. Congrats to you, man. I am a great swift recovery. Anyway, so sorry about that. If you are watching us and you want to listen to us, you can check out any major podcast site. Just type in Bruise and Boxing. And if you're listening to us and you want to watch us, go to YouTube.com/Bruise and Boxing and check us out. And maybe you can see Matt's weird beard.
Yeah. Maybe if he combs the sweet tarts out of it, we can talk. But Matty Bush, why don't you end the show with a little words of wisdom? Maybe more whiz than dumb.
I'm wearing a shirt. It's Smoking Joe Frazier. And just in case, most of the people don't know, he's the first man to beat Muhammad Ali. Done.
Okay, that's words of wisdom coming from Matty Bush. I don't know where the words of that was more of a fact, but we're going to go with that. All right. Thank you all very much for joining us this week. It's been a fun show. It's been a short show. We always try to do a little shorter show after the Filthy 5 show because that one always goes long. So make sure you tell all your friends about this. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button too because, hey, it really does help with the algorithms on YouTube. So for Matty Bush, Filthy Rich, and the Judge Jimmy James. Judge, I will see you in Vegas in a few days. I cannot wait for that. We're going to be rocking the town. It's going to be rocking and rolling, clickety-clack, we're going to be watching some boxing in Vegas this weekend. Which boxing match are we fighting or betting on this weekend?
Judge Conlon versus Leigh Wood.
Conlon.
We're taking baby Conlon all day.
Conlon versus Wood. If you're in Vegas, look for us. You'll see me and the Judge betting Conlon in one of the sports books down there. It's
you better take Woods. You better take Woods.
No, we're all Conlon, baby.
Yeah, you muted, boy.
Yeah, it's all Conlon. So if you had me in Vegas this weekend, find me and the Judge and we will buy you one of them free Vegas beers. All right. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you guys next week.